welcome back to Tarot Tats and Tea. This is actually my fourth or fifth attempt at filming this, because this has 3 decks in it that I want to share with you today. So I thought, right, take a break. They haven't been working out how I wanted them to work out, so I've taken a break. I've made myself a nice herbal tea, lemon, ginger and honey, and we're going to try again. So, how are you all? What have you all been up to? And I hope life is treating you well. Just re-angle this a little bit. There we go. Now, I have 3 decks to share with you today. And one is Tarot of Traditions, and it's an RWS deck. Now, I'm not going to go through it from start to finish. I'm just going to show you a couple of the little cards that I felt were nice to show you. I got this because I was actually just drawn to the backs. I love the backs on them. But this deck is, like I say, an RWS deck. It has been created by Giuliano Costa, and it was published by Lo Scarabeo. I'm a little bit miffed with the box. It's one of those tuck boxes, but look, it looks like someone's leaned on it and drawn a line across. It's like a big indentation if someone's ruled a line, 2 lines even, and dug the pen in. And the front, it's all bubbled and creased. So I wasn't too impressed by that now, I have to be honest. However, beggars can't be choosers. This is the little white book, and there's nothing new in there to warrant going through the book. So let's have a look. I have chosen this deck to share with you because it came in the post this week. It's one that is vibrant. You can see the colours are absolutely beautiful all the way through it. Okay, look at that lovely Ace of Cups. It has a very sort of almost Catholic feel to it with the host and the chalice and the dove of peace. But then we've got our ancestors. This is how I'm reading it as, and it's how my interpretation, our spirit guides and ancestors talking to us and guiding us and saying things are going to be well. Look at this, you're on top of your game, you know, but just don't let your emotions run away with you. But then we have other things. Now there's one card in here that I thought, this is one I want to share, and here we are. It's the 3 of Swords, and the 3 of Swords in the Tarot of Traditions really is quite different. We can see we have a face here. However, let's look at the top. We've got the ventricles of the heart there. So this is telling us that although we've been hurt, because we do know the 3 of Swords sort of does bring the darker side of tarot. It brings us that message that things might not be how we want them to be, that we might have been hurt in a relationship. We could be the 3rd spoke in a wheel. There could be somebody else there that's broken our hearts. It could be problems, private, work-related. It could be anything, but this one here specifically points to me that this is not just been a physical pain that we feel in our heart, but one that's caused us mental anguish as well, with it going through the heart and ahead. So there's mental anguish, there's emotional anguish, and potentially the 2 of them having such you know, they compound each other. There could be physical anxiety there as well. However, not all is dull, okay? It's not all doom and gloom. Look at the butterflies here, okay, and the birds. This tells me that it's a period of change. Yes, it might have hurt, because let's face it, not all periods of change are positive. Periods of change come around because of hurts that we might have had to endure, because we've been let down, because of anything that might have gone wrong and caused us to feel an awful lot of pain. But it's a pain that we grow from. As long as you can get through it, bear with it and ride it out, because the storms, let's face it, you know, it's great having highs, but we can't have always high after high after high, because if that was the case, that would be our normal living, and we wouldn't appreciate those highs. You have to have your lows to appreciate your highs. And this is saying it's all about change and metamorphosis and learning from what has caused us hurt and not making that same mistake again. Flying high, new plumage, being beautiful, and just developing new, learning from the hurt that we've endured. But isn't that a wonderful 3 of Swords? Really does speak volumes. Another card that I thought was interesting. Now, they're all very interesting. They've all got symbols right the way through it. If we look at this Knight of Pentacles, look at the clouds. A lot of the clouds in this deck have faces. Okay, so it's down to you how you interpret them. But this Empress card is something that got me too. Look at that. Look at the lioness in the grass there. You know that, albeit our Empress is sort of matriarchal and kind and guiding and loving, there's an inner lioness. It's almost like it's combining both our Empress and our Strength card, really. You know, let's see. The Magician. Let me just find the Magician, because there was something on the Magician I wanted to show you. The Fool card. Look at the Fool card. Look at the sky in the background. We've got older people looking down as if they're guiding his way, saying, go on, take that leap of faith, do it, you know, you can, you know. But there was something here that I wanted to show you in a couple of the cards, actually. Look at how Seven of Wands, again, we've got that guiding light behind us. It's all about how you read the symbols, you know, what you want it to mean to you. Our Five of Cups, look, we've got so much in there that it's just, they're stunning cards. They're absolutely beautiful. I do like them. I like them immensely. If we look at our Ten of Swords, look what we have in the sky there. You know, on the Ten of Swords. Isn't that amazing? You know, there's a lot within this deck that you can see and decide whether you want to, you know, use the symbols, or if you want them there just for decorative purposes. But when we get symbols like that, it really does prod at our intuition and say, go on, what are you feeling from it? Use it. Look at this for a Strength card. You know, taming the beast, being able to face what you want to face, but having that inner lioness in you, not afraid to show it when needs must. Let me see, our two of Pentacles. The skies again with the faces. There's an awful lot of faces within this deck. This is one that I like. Look at the Hermit. Look at above the moon that you can see in the Hermit there. There's that faint outline of an angel or a sprite or spirit guide. Yeah, this is a deck that I like. I'm going to enjoy reading with, and it's just the added extras within it. I thought, oh, I really like that. I do want to add that to my collection. I'm very, very pleased with it. I think it's a beautiful deck. The colour's beautiful, and the whole idea behind it's different and enjoyable. Look at our Magician. There's so much within that card. But can you see, tucked away in the bottom left-hand corner here is an owl. Now, with the Magician, we have to watch out for sleight of hand, as well as for knowing that we have all the tools of the trade that we need in order to be able to achieve a task. But this one is saying, you know, be aware of the sleight of hand, but don't be too foolish. And remember, you have 2 eyes, 2 ears and 1 mouth. Therefore, we do twice as much looking and listening as we do speaking. Okay? And rather than jumping in and making ourselves sound a fool, and then opening your mouth and removing all doubt, you know. So it's a lovely card. There's so many hidden messages within it. Shuffling hand over hand, it's lovely. It's the traditional Lo Scarabeo type cardstock. It's very easy to shuffle, and not only is it easy to shuffle, it's hand over hand. It's nice to riffle as well. So let's have a look at riffling. Now we'll just drop our deck there, split our deck, and to arch it as well. Yep, perfect. So that's our Tarot of Traditions by Giuliano Costa, and that's the box, tuck box. Okay. Now, the other deck I want to show you is quite unusual. This came out very, very recently. This is a deck that is beautiful. It's a majors only. However, there's 4 sets of majors within the one deck. Okay. This is the Four Tails Tarot, and it has been created by Tarotica. These are the creators of the Dark Mansion Tarot and a number of others. Okay, now the genuine and original decks come in a box that looks like a book. Okay, and it has gold foil on the front, or that you can see there. Okay, and you can see it here and on the backs as well. Okay, now we've got it there, there, there. Okay, you can see and at the top there. So look out for that when you're getting this deck, because unfortunately the decks are being copied and it's very, very infuriating for the creators. So it doesn't tell us much about the deck on here. It's very difficult to read. It basically just tells us about the box, what is on the box, and this is an 88 card deck that's created from 4 sets of majors. They're all made by different artists. We don't have the artist's name, and I'm just going to show you. I'm not going to go through all 88 cards, but I'm just going to give you an example. The backs are different, so we've got this sort of back for one set, this sort of back for the other, then we have this one and this one. So you can see they're very similar designs, but different colourings and slightly different patterns, okay? Yet when you put them together, because I've had to resort them out because I've been shuffling it and playing with it and it's brilliant. When you have them all mixed together, they don't stand out as being that very, very different. They gel and blend well together. I hope you've got a nice drink there today. I'm drinking my herbals. Now, let's look at the Fool card from each one. I'm going to try and hold them so you can see. Oops, I've got 2 cards there. So you can see all of them. So we have 4 different Fool cards there. That I think is my favourite. Reminds me of one of the Hobbits, one of the Tooks in The Hobbit. This one reminds me of it, as does this one here. And this one reminds me of, again, sort of like Lord of the Rings. That one's though they get into, is it to Mordor to throw the rings into the fire, you know. But they're all different takes of the Fool, and they're all quite amazing. This particular set of majors are black and white. The whole set is black and white, but there's an eeriness to them. There's a different energy to this one than there are to the others, but I think you can say that about the majority of black and white decks, can't you, really? Now, how would you use a deck like this? For me, I've split it up into the 4 decks here now. This was, if I was to say, right, I'm going to do a daily pull to talk to my ancestors, there might be different questions. So which ancestor would I be talking to today would be one question. What's your personality like would be another. What work ethic do you have would be another. And how do you guide me would be another, through what energies, okay? So for instance, if we say drew the Fool on this one, so what's your personality like, okay? So the Fool, the adventurer, the one that likes to be a go-getter. So what's your work ethic like? The magician, but this would be a serious one. They do like their fun and games, but there's a time and a place, okay? What is your energy when your skills and talents? What energy do your skills and talents? What sort of energies is it there? Maybe the High Priestess. So they work with their intuition. They work with, you know, on an esoteric level. And then say now we had how do you work with me? And we have the World, and that's saying we're going to guide you so that you can find your niche in the world. Okay, that sort of thing. That's just a very brief, loose example as to how I would use this type of deck. One of the ways I'd use it. Another way I would use it is by doing whole readings using majors only. It's all very interesting. It's down to you and your imagination, your intuition, and how you like to read. So let's have a quick flick through at some of these cards, and it's going to be just quick. So this is the one with this back, okay. The magician there is very scientific looking, where this high priest is very earthy looking. Oops. The lovers. They're all quite different in each deck, and I have to say they all have their own individual energy. Collectively, when you're holding the deck, it's very different, very, very different to your standard deck. And like I say, it's up to you. You can either use this to read with, just add it to your collection. You can use it, take the majors out, divide the majors up as I have here, and then say, I like those majors, and I'm going to use them with the pip cards or the minors of another deck, because I like X, Y, and Z of that, you know. So you can do with them what you like. Personally, I'm going to like this deck just as majors. I've never said that in the past, but I suppose as you delve deeper into tarot and the more things that you learn, the more you come to understand, and the deeper you go, you're quite prepared to try new things. Then we have the black and white deck here. Definitely looks like it, doesn't it? A black and white version of it. I don't know in this deck, this particular one, do I have a favourite card in this as yet? I'm not sure at the moment. The Lovers is probably one that I like. To me, that's like lovers through time, growing through, you know, coming up from the roots of the tree of life, and you've got the planets, the moon, you've got the tattoos on them, but there's also like as though they've always been together from one lifetime to another, because it looks like their face is actually decomposing. Chariot, there's no face there, it's just all a silhouette. I like the Hermit. I do feel this one is more magic based. Does that make any sense? Here, if you look at Justice, look at the clothes Justice is wearing. It's all quite beautiful. Our Hanged Man is very different. Death is different as well. All the new plant growth in amongst the corpses. Temperance. Now you see, where do you... I've never seen a skeleton with temperance before. And it's the light and dark of each card. And the devil here, he looks like the lover. It looks like a full front of the lover's card, but it also looks a little as like the... definitely looks like the lover's card. It looks like the same sort of character has been used, because if you look at his sunken jaws, he looks like the clown on The Fool as well. And then you've got the Tower, the Star, the Moon, the Sun, Judgment, and the World. Now the next two decks are in colour, the next two decks of majors. And here we have our Fool we go. I'm not going deeply into each of these cards, simply because I'm just flying through them so you can see the 4 different decks of majors that we have here in my hand. And once I have actually worked with them and I've got to know them more, then what I will do is do a deeper review on them and probably do some examples of how I've read with them, because this is very different to what I would normally have. I wouldn't normally have a majors only deck, but I was very drawn to this when I read about it, when the idea was first put out there, because I do follow Tarotica. I love their decks. This is that silk matte feel, and that buttery feel to it. It really is quite lovely. If you have the Dark Mansion, the buttery feel of that's what this feels like. Okay, Judgment and the World. Crikey, this is probably the quietest I've been when I'm showing a deck. It's just there's so much to get through here. And just bear with me while I take a sip. I've been quite unlucky this last couple of days, and I've developed a head cold. I'm using my cafetiere for my herbal tea, and this one I made specifically for my cold that I have developed, because it's got lots of honey and lemon and ginger in it. Here's our Fool. It's a very carefree Fool, isn't it? It's a more serious Magician. I'd say this is the fella you got to watch out with the old sleight of hand. High Priestess. The Empress. And the Emperor. Those are more traditional looking. The Hierophants are all very different. Well, they're all very different to each other. And the thing is, with them all being so different, you can actually pick out, it sort of tweaks your imagination and your intuition, and you can sort of pick out different things through each of the majors. So if you had all 4 Hierophants, for instance, or all 4 Hermits, or any of them, you can look at the 4 of them and get something different from each of them. And again, that's something I sort of use to show you when I've actually sat down and worked with this properly. Probably next week or so, because that means I'll be able to say, right, okay, this is what I've done, this is how I've used it. Okay, and I do think I'm going to try and have a chat ancestor wise and pop it into my ancestral grimoire that you'll have seen whilst I was working through the ancestral grimoire book. I like this Sun card. I do like that. Judgment's a lovely one as well. They're all lovely. I do like them all. There we go. So this is the Four Tails Tarot. I'm going to see what they're like to shuffle. I'm just going to riffle them first because I've put them in 2 sets to get more and mixed up. Lovely. Oh yes, they are nice to riffle and arch. Because there's 88 cards and it makes it that bit thicker. Yep. Hand over hand. We've some fierce winds here today. I keep worrying about my greenhouse because it toppled on the last bad wind we had. Just don't want it to do that today. Right, so they're nicely shuffled. Right, the next deck that arrived is this one here. It's an absolute beauty by one of my favourite artists, and it's a deck by Anna Turian, and it is the Tarot of Echoes. It came with a nice little business card where Anna writes, "Thanks so much for your order. I hope you'll love the Tarot of Echoes. Many blessings, Anna." Well, thank you, Anna. I am quite certain I am going to like them. Now, this deck is not in order because, again, I've shuffled it and I've done a couple of readings for myself with it, actually. And to be honest with you, they really were quite good. Signed on the inside by Anna. And this is the deck, okay? That's the back of the deck. And let's go. First of all, it's the cardstock is similar to that of a Lo Scarabeo in a way, not as thin, but still nice and pliable, nice and strong. It's easy to shuffle hand over hand. Okay, and let's have a look here. Lovely, lovely, lovely to riffle with. If you're a riffler, it's brilliant to riffle with. Now, let's have a look at the pictures on the deck. Now, it's not going to be in order, as I say. We have the Seven of Cups. I love Anna's art. You can see the beautiful lines, the watercolours, and how everything has been done so painstakingly, the patience and it's just beautiful. The design, the time, and the accuracy and the blending of colours. It's just phenomenal. I love this, the world. Look, the day and night. Okay. The Nine of Cups. That's me. The Nine of Cups. Only I've got different colour hair. The Star. I'd say it's watercolour and ink. Would I be right? Watercolours, definitely. There we go. That's the Four of Wands. That's beautiful. Page of Swords. The Knight of Pentacles. Now, if that Knight of Pentacles was come to visit me, he'd have the right sort of gift. A pot with a plant in it. The Ace of Swords. The Devil. It's a very complex card. You could read so much with that. The Five of Cups. The Eight of Cups. And again, this card, you can see a fine line where it's the dark, going from the dark to the light, okay? The person's just walking away from all that's sort of negative in that person's life and following their own path, leaving behind what no longer serves them and going off to find their place in their world. The Wise One, so that's, he looks, he has the look of a hermit, but that would be our Hierophant, you know, just absolutely amazing. Sort of a Hierophant with a hermit vibe. This is our Six of Pentacles. That's very much like me when we go down to the pond. Surrounded by birds as they take the food. The Queen of Pentacles. Now the Hanged Man is the next card, and it's a very interesting take on the Hanged Man because we are standing on the ground looking up sort of at the Hanged Man. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? It's beautiful. It's almost like we're consulting with them, saying, well, you know, just step back, look at it differently. You're looking at it face on. Two of Swords. Five of Swords. Two of Cups. Page of Wands. The Lover's card really reminds me of stories from Ireland around at the times of the famine. It's almost like a young couple together are going to be making their way to the shores to sail off to either the UK or America and find something new for them because, you know, of the famine and the ground. You can't grow anything and there's no work. But it's like they're together and they're saying, well, we've got each other and that's all we need to continue along on our journey. It really has that sort of vibe about it. The Moon, the Four of Pentacles, Eight of Swords, our Two of Wands, and the Awakening, which is like our Judgment card, the Awakening. Oh, that is so deep. You get so much out of that. The Four of Swords, the Seven of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, and the Four of Cups. Look at the look of disdain on that person's face. And then we have our Page of Cups. Our Five of Wands is a lovely card. Look at this for a gorgeous card. Talk about it being full of male testosterone, locking horns, fighting. Yeah. Now the Death card is very undeath-like. It's one of the nicest death cards I've come across. It's very deep, it's very beautiful. There you go. It's sort of like this side of the tree and thing that it's dying. Is it the toxicity in the earth, what, you know, in the atmosphere? But it's dying, but from that there's growth. It's almost like St. Bridget's cape covering the ground and newness taking over again. It's quite a different death card. Here's the Fool. It's full of innocence, that one. Nine of Swords. And then we have our Eight of Pentacles. I like this. Somebody very busy building violins. Excuse me. Knight of Wands. Chariot. Nine of Wands. Now, you know, you see that Nine of Wands and someone's, they stood there sort of all forlorn and leaning on a wand. This one, it's like the family have come so far and they've got loads of support, but the father's the protector. Look, we've come this far and we're going to get there. We're going to be fine. I'll protect you. You know. The King of Cups. Temperance. Look at this Temperance card. Isn't that beautiful? It's so clever. So very, very clever. Ace of Wands. Ten of Wands. The Emperor card I think is beautiful. The Emperor and the Empress in this deck are amazing because this Emperor card, let's look at this for instance. So the Emperor's head is beneath the ground. Okay, here's the ground and the mountains, and his face is, it's like it's hewn in the rock and in the sands and the grasses, and they've all come together to form this beautiful face. And that's like it's saying to me, I'm supporting you like any father figure would. I am there to give you a helping hand. I am beneath you, there to raise you up when you need me. I am there. And you'll see it's the polar opposite when we get to the Empress. So this one at the moment, this is the Tower. It's a lovely Tower card. Our Three of Cups. The Wheel of Fortune. And the High Priestess. That's beautiful. Looking at her pensive. Then we have the Knight of Cups. The Ten of Pentacles. the Six of Cups, Ten of Swords, and our Queen of Swords. Excuse me. King of Wands, and our Justice. It's almost like a little smirk there going, I told you I'd get it sorted. Six of Swords, Three of Swords. Again, it's another Three of Swords where it's very different, isn't it? Very different to what we usually see. Then we have the Ace of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, Strength, Ace of Cups, Eight of Wands, the Magician, Sun, the Queen of Wands. This Seven of Swords, you can see the sneaky bugger here running off with them people's clothing whilst they're swimming. There we go. Knight of Swords, Queen of Cups, Three of Wands. Here we're at the Empress. This one I want to show you. The Empress is that all-seeing sort of eye. It's like saying, to me, the Empress in this card is the matriarchs have gone on before us, okay? That we are a matriarch here and now. We are the head of our house, of our home, the female head, the mother figure, the matriarch. And this is like matriarchs through space and time. And they're saying, you know, well, we've done the job that you're taking over doing now, but we are there to guide you. You are the matriarch, but we, as matriarchs of old, are there. All you have to do is ask for help, and you will be given help, whether that's by a sign, by things just falling into place. You will know. So we've got help from above and below. Okay, so we've got that supportive hand from the Emperor, and that eye, and that being able to see inside others' souls, being able to spot those that have your well-being, as one of their priorities, and being able to spot those that don't, and being able to be independent, intuitive, practical, but listening to both, particularly the matriarchs of yore. They sort of there saying, we're still here, we haven't gone, but you just have to ask for our help, we can't just give it you, you know. Seven of Pentacles, Six of Wands, King of Swords. I love this strategy, chess, clever. King of Pentacles. This is something I think is beautiful, the Hermit. But look at our Hermit. The image of this Hermit is replicated within the lamp. So it's looking at ourselves inside. It's shining the lamp on ourselves for us to study ourselves. What do we need moving forward? But equally, it's also there as a guide for others, following our own path, listening to our inner soul and saying, right, this is the path we go. This is what we want to do. That's where we're going to head off to. It's just so beautiful. It's an amazing card. Then we have the Ten of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles, and finally the Nine of Pentacles. So this deck is the Tarot of Echoes. It's created by Anatorian, and it's every bit as beautiful as all Anna's other work. There's only one deck where I read reversals, and that's my Tarot of the Abyss, which is another deck created by Anatorian, and it's one that I tend to use outdoors, particularly when I'm reading and doing tarot from the Potting Shed. I tend to use that because I find it very earthy, very down to earth, very lovely, and I also find that reversals just flow with that deck. So they'll be saying this, I do not know. But there we go. So those are the 3 decks that we've looked at today. There was the Tarot of Traditions, there was the Four Tales Tarot, which is a Majors only deck, 4 sets of Majors, and our Tarot of Echoes by Anatorian. As I go along, this doesn't come with a book, by the way, there's no book with this. As we go along, and as I work with them, particularly something as different as the Four Tales Tarot, I will more than likely do another video where I'm actually using the deck. Okay, so whatever you're doing today, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope you haven't got the wind and the rain and the blooming miserable weather that we have here, but if you do, surely it can't last forever. It's 10 weeks now. We need a proper spring. Take care, everybody. See you soon. Bye.